Our next guest is the only living author to have won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction twice, and one of just 4 authors ever to do that. Colson Whitehead is the best-selling author of 11 books across a range of genres. His latest is called Crook Manifesto, the second in what will be his Harlem Trilogy, out now in paperback. The book follows furniture salesman Ray Carney and his criminal underworld friends and enemies in 1970s Harlem. We're so happy Colson Whitehead joins us again. Good morning.
Hey, howdy do.
Good to see you.
How was he able to hold your face on straight when he said the only living author to have won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction twice? And Colson just sat there.
He just sat there. He didn't do the shoulder brush. He didn't do anything. He just sat there taking it all in.
I was very fortunate, so.
because you're an incredibly gifted and talented author.
There you go.
And this book is the second in your Harlem Trilogy, which we say centers around Ray Carney, who's always got his foot sort of stuck in the straight world and in the criminal world. It's the crooked world of criminals that are his friends, some people that he gets along with. There's an interesting twist here about Ray, but why do you want him to be the linchpin of your trilogy?
Well, he has a divided nature, I think, like all of us. You know, he has a side that wants to be legit and be an upstanding citizen. He has a furniture store on 125th Street in Harlem, the big boulevard. Mm-hmm. But there is this voice in the back of his head that's always saying, let's do some crimes. And I think, and so over the series of books, we follow him as he embraces and rejects that criminal side. And I think we can see ourselves in him as we, you know, we're social beings and have to act a certain way, but we do have natures that we have to tame.
Do you have natures that you're trying to tame? Do you ever think, you know, I wish I could do a crime? Colson Whitehead.
This book isn't as autobiographical as some other ones, but I see myself in him sometimes.
You're currently working on your 3rd book, too, of this trilogy.
Yeah, so it follows him in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and that means following the city as well. And so he has his ups and downs, and the city is going into the fiscal crisis in this book in the 70s. In the 1980s, it comes out. Wall Street's booming again, early 80s. And then, of course, at the end of the 1980s, we see the height of the AIDS crisis and the crack epidemic. So it's following the life of the city and the life of this person.
Yeah, speaking of those decades, 70s, 80s, you grew up in Manhattan. And I believe we have a photo
We've got
of
proof, Colson.
you in front of your childhood home in Harlem. And, you know, they say that Harlem is a stage. You had a front row seat to this stage. How has Harlem impacted your perspective as you write these books?
And which one were you, the little baby? Or
I was in the carriage.
Because there were 2 kids. Are you the bigger one or the younger one?
The older one.
The older
my
one,
younger brother, Clark.
Okay.
Well, you know, it's a great stage. I mean, the city is going through its ups and downs, and Harlem is transforming as well. And so we can see the main character's transformation in the city itself. And of course, for me, I was living there as a kid. I come back when I'm much older and doing research and trying to figure out where Ray Carney lives, where his office is. And so it's very different, but I felt very at home going back to these, you know, my earliest memories.
One of the things that I love about your books, especially your historical fiction books, I love historical fiction, is how you place things in context, but how the more things change, the more they remain the same. Here's a line from the book. The city was burning. Every night you heard the sirens. Pierce blamed years of misguided policy, but Carney rejected that narrow diagnosis. From what he understood about human beings, today's messes and cruelties were the latest version of the old ones. Same flaws, different face, all of it passed down.
Well, everything's happening at the same time, especially in the city. You know, if you go down 125th Street now, there's Nike and Shake Shack and et cetera. But one block up is the same townhouses that have been there for 150 years. And so we're constantly building this new city over the old city and reliving the same stories, generation after generation. So I'm trying to capture that.
Well, I say all is right with the world when there's a Shake Shack. I love that cheeseburger.
Yeah, I love that Shake Shack. Colson Whitehead, always great to have you. Thank you so much. This book is incredible. You're incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for being here. Crook Manifesto is available in paperback today.